Hi, my name is Payton Hunley, and I'm the Grants and Program Associate at the DECA Foundation. Have you ever wanted to sit down with DECA Foundation staff and ask us about our grant making? Well, we're launching a new video series called Tuesdays with Tom, where I get to sit down with our president, Tom Leedy, and discuss some of the questions that grant seekers often have for us. Today, we are recording the video in the Community Learning Center located in Kendallville, Indiana. Tom, thank you for joining me today to answer some of the questions that grant seekers often have. To start off the video, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to the foundation?
I can. I've been at the foundation for 22 years. Prior to the Deco Foundation, I worked at Group Deco, Mr. Deco's operating companies. And while at Group Deco, I was in a training and development position. So I spent a lot of time teaching managers about his philosophy, his management philosophy, the values of the company, the mission, um, strategic planning, things of that nature. And so through that experience, I feel like I had a pretty good idea of who he was, what he valued, how he wanted his company to continue to flourish. And so when I came to the Deco Foundation, it just seemed logical to me that the values that he held for his company were similar values that he would hold for his philanthropic organization. And so what we've tried to do is to implement those values and those goals based on our mission here at the foundation as well.
Sure. So, Mr. Deco left us with the mission of fostering economic freedom through education. Can you tell us a little bit more about that mission and why it's so important to the foundation?
Yes. So, well, first of all, it's a wonderful mission. It's been a great guide for us. It's the type of mission that it's not just up on the wall. It's something that we live every single day. We question our work and use it as a filter. And it's the type of mission that we know what we're trying to achieve. It's this idea of individuals reaching economic freedom. Um, and we know how to do it. It's through education. So within that, even though it gives you that great guidance and you know what you're trying to do, the how you go about it is pretty wide open. And trying to break it down into something that you can manage every day is really the challenge in it. So when we look at economic freedom, first of all, some people look at economic freedom or they hear that term and they think that it means, a certain level of wealth or something like that. And it's really not what it's all about, at least not in our eyes. Another way we define it is that we say that a person's in a position where they can produce more than they consume. Okay, because the idea is if we're producing more, and through production it means that we're adding value for other people, then through that production, if it's above our consumption, we're going to have a surplus at the end of the day. And it's through that surplus that we have choices, that we have freedom. We have other options in life. We're not just trying to make ends meet now. We have something extra. And one of those choices that we can make is that we can be helpful to other people through our own philanthropic work. So for us, it's a full circle. It's a important aspect of the mission and something that is achievable by all. And then on the education part of it, the education is the key. If I'm going to be productive, if I'm going to add value for other people, then I have to have the skills, knowledge, and character to produce something that's of value. So for us, how do we help people gain that skills, knowledge, and character that they need to produce value for others, so that they can achieve that surplus level of which is economically free. And education itself, although people look at it as being formal education like at school or college or what have you, for us, education takes place in all phases of a person's life, whether they're at home, in the community, or at a formal education institution. Um, they're in a position to continue to be educated and to continue to learn. So that's how our mission fits together and where we start.
Great. So, oftentimes grant seekers will ask us, what age range do you serve? And we tell them we serve ages birth to age 18. Can you elaborate a little bit on that and explain why we invest in those age ranges?
Yes. So a person can gain skills and knowledge in character development at any age, really. But we focus on 0 through 18 because we want to help people get off on a good start. We believe that it's easier to help them from the beginning than
Mhm.
to try to change things later on. And when you combine that with the fact that humans are born with the desire to learn, with the desire to know, really what it's about is how do you keep that fire going, throughout their life to achieve this status of lifelong learner. And so we want to concentrate our effort on that 0 through 18 age so that we can help them get the foundation that they need to be that lifelong learner, because that's what's going to allow them to adapt for the future. And what we've learned along the way, because we've learned a lot from those who study child development, and we're not child development experts, but we've learned along the way that there are certain developmental principles that come into play for every child at these various age groups. There are certain needs that they have. And what we have come to believe is if we can help create the right environment that aligns with those developmental needs, with these principles of development is what we call it, that that environment will be such that the learning almost takes place on its own, because the child wants to learn, and now they're in an environment that aligns with their capabilities and what their needs are at the time. And between those two, it really puts the child in a great position um, to learn what they need to learn in terms of skill, knowledge, and character to be successful as they travel on in life.
Thank you for watching our first video of Tuesdays with Tom. Next week, we're going to be talking with Tom more about why we invest in some organizations and not others.